Hello everybody and welcome back to Steve's Gear. And today we're going to take a look at the Odenwolf Blade Professor. Now this is a new item from Odenwolf and it's a pretty cool item, especially for someone like me. I've said multiple times on the channel that I'm just not the best when it comes to sharpening. Now, thankfully I have a decent selection of knives and I'm able to kind of rotate through them. But a couple knives like these are ones that I like to take out with me when I go out and do some trail walking or some trail hiking or some driving. And I do little cooks out there, maybe cook some breakfast or something. I use like a Firebox Nano stove, so I can use wood in it. So a lot of times I'll use these for batoning wood or, taking some limbs off or something like that. And so they do get dulled out a little bit over time. And I can kind of just use this to touch up the edge a little bit while I'm out and about. Now we'll go ahead and take a look at this and see if this might be something that work good for you. Right now, this one comes in at $24.99 on the website. It does come in a nice box. Odenwolf always has pretty nice packaging. Nice little slip-off box here. Now you do get your user manual in here, and then it just comes in a little foam insert there. So pretty cool. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the Blade Professor itself. Now it's got multiple different things on it. So you do have a couple pull-throughs here. And I know a lot of people don't always like the pull-throughs, and I haven't typically ever used them too much, but like I said, for a worker knife like one of these that I go out in the trails, I think it'll be fine for at least keeping the edge somewhat good for splitting some wood and things like that. Now you do have a carbide here and you have a ceramic pull through. You have a ceramic rod here on the top. Now you have a diamond rod here, which has a little lock on it. So if you pull this back, you can rotate this rod out. Now this diamond rod is 600 grit. And then you get a couple little rubber feet here. So when you have it down on the table, it helps keep it in place a little bit as you're pulling things through. And then you have another little pull out piece here. That's a second diamond rod that is 1000 grit. And this also has a built-in whistle. It's 110 decibels. And I never really carry a whistle, so I guess it's kind of nice that I have one. It might come in handy someday. So I'll put that back in there. Now here you actually get a little flip-out bit holder. Now it comes with a Phillips bit, but you can put whatever bit you want to use in it. And then once you put that in there, it does have a little holder here on the front. So you can put that in there. There's a little bit of a magnet in there. So say if you're out and about and maybe you have this clipped onto your belt and this piece here keeps dangling around, you want to just take it off. There's a couple Phillips bits. It's nice to have an extra bit, just pull this off by chance if you don't have your Leatherman that day or something. You can just, adjust whatever you need to on like your sheath or something. So pretty cool little option. They put that in there. But if you want to throw a T6 or a T8 or a T10 or whatever in there, you can do that. It does have a spot here for a lanyard if you want to use that. And then it does have a pocket clip here if you want to carry it on your pocket. Now this does weigh in at 6.7 ounces. So it's not heavy, but it does have some heft to it. So for me, I just plan on carrying it like in my sling bag. I'll show you that here in a minute. But it's very easy to operate. Say if I'm going to maybe touch up the edge real quick on this one, about and about. Typically, you would start on the carbide and move to the ceramic. Now I'm only going to do like one pass just for demonstration purposes, but basically you would just pull it through. You want to just go one direction, and then you just pull over to the ceramic, pull it through there. You can do that. Now, if you didn't want to use the pull through and you want to do more of a manual type method, you could always just use the ceramic rod on the side and sharpen that way. You could do that, or you could use the diamond rod if you want to do that. Or if you have like a serrated blade that you take out, one knife I take out sometimes is an old Gerber that's partially serrated and partial straight edge. If I wanted to touch up the serrations, I could start out with this diamond rod here, and I could just touch up some of the serrations through there. And then when I was done with that, I could, finish them up on the ceramic rod here. It does have quite a bit of a point to it, so you can kind of get in the serrations pretty good. And as you can see, there is little grooves here on the sides. You could also use it for sharpening up some fishing hooks. So pretty handy little tool, for just out there in the field, just for, quick touch-ups and things like that. I think it'll get you by pretty good. Now, like for carrying it, typically when I'm out and about, a lot of times I bring this nutsack sling bag out with me. And I'll always normally throw one of these in it. Just depends on which one I'm feeling like that day. Sometimes I'll throw this one in. Sometimes I'll put this one in. And then this little, pocket clip here, I'll just clip it onto one of these things of Molly here. Now, it's a little bit more difficult for me from behind the camera. But once I just clip that on there, it's good to go. It's always going to be on there. I don't have to worry about falling around. And I can just keep it in this sling bag all the time. So it'll be easy for me to use. So pretty cool little tool. I think it's not too bad for 25 bucks. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you want to pick one up, I'd like to hear. But that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.